Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Pre-War Baseball Card Hunting, where I take a deep dive into the cards of a particular player from the pre-war era. And this week's episode is a very special, iconic player, none other than the Iron Horse, Lou Gehrig. So let's stick around and see what he's got. All right, so I've got my slides all ready to go with the cards of Lou Gehrig. So once again, let's start off with my criteria here. I am avoiding the oversized cards because unlike some folks lucky enough to have an entire card room, I have a card wall. So I focus on normal sized items that are going to fit in my display cases. So I am not going to be talking about exhibits and postcards and things of that nature. I'm also skipping extreme rarity items like the 10 cards in existence type of items. I do touch on a couple of lower quantity items that uh, you still might see and have particular importance here, but I'm also excluding combo or team cards. So you're not going to see like 35 Goudey included that has multiplayers on it, or the 41 double plays, anything that has more than one player. It's just not something I'm wanting to collect for myself. So it's not going to be here. So then also my focus is going to be on low grades because in almost all of these cases, we're talking about fairly expensive cards. So they are going to be already very expensive in these low grades. I'm excluding the ones that are really beat up. They are not going to be the ones that got folded up and then put in a pocket or the dog chewed them up. But they do have a technical problem that will lower them down to, authentic or ones. But if they have wrinkles or creases, they're not going to be through the player's face, or the main part of the card is still going to look good. There is some good eye appeal still going on despite the lower grade. And once again, all my pricing data is courtesy of vintagecardprices.com. Not a sponsor or anything, but I do feel the need to give them credit. So let's get rolling here. Up first, I have got a 1925 W590. This would be a hand cut strip card. This would be the lowest population card I'll even have in here. Well, except for one exception, sorry. But this one is 27 graded cards from SGC and PSA. Not going to bother to look in other companies, as these companies have the vast majority of all of these cards in their holders. So now this one would be, in a way, your rookie card of Lou Gehrig. Most folks are going to be looking at his 1925 exhibit, which is an oversized item, as his rookie card. And as such, it also carries a premium here, like this card here, which kind of has a style of looking like it is newsprint printed almost. But as you can see, it's got almost a $5,000 price of entry here. This one recent sale was a PSA authentic that looked like it got the authentic because of min size, because being hand cut, that is going to be a common feature of these, that they weren't sliced quite within the specifications that the grading companies require. But still, a very good looking card for, the level of execution from the manufacturer as far as this one goes. But, kind of pricey to get in on what would be considered his rookie year of cards here. So up next, we are on to 1927 with the W560 cards. This would be another hand cut strip card. So many of these will be found in authentic variety as such because of that. Although actually with these, it's less frequent because of the fact that they have that card playing card border, it seems like in a large part they were actually cut better by people with that guide to go with. So as you can see, there's no recent really low grades, but this one is not a popular set. They are relative, you know, if you can call anything a bargain here, this would be the bargain of bargains as far as Lou Gehrig goes. Total graded population on this one is 133. And as you can see, that SGC 40, which that computes to a 3, is went for $588 and is a really nice looking card. So I'm thinking the bottom probably would be somewhere in the 400-ish dollar range, as far as if you found one that was, say, an authentic that looked decent, would be my guess as far as how low that would go. But a really nice picture of him, but a lot of people don't like it because of that playing card look, and so hence you get the lower pricing. Next is also from that set that is a rare variation, but I did feel the need to include it because if you do spot that in the wild, just so you know that if it's got that red circle, there are only 11 of these graded in existence. So, and the price delta is not really that much from these, even though there is the extreme difference of rarity. So, just a word out there. If you spot that, you are spotting a very rare Lou Gehrig card. So now up next, I have merged together all of what they call the F50 cards from the Jefferson Burdick, grading or card, card catalog, what you will. These are all from 1928. So the 4 variations primarily are Harrington, Tharps, Sweetman, and Yinglings. And they all are relatively priced the same, although I believe I don't have any recent sales of Sweetman, that being the most extreme rarity of these cards, as there's only a few of those that are part of this merged population I've compiled. And those ones will go for a premium for the collectors who care about the card backs. So all of them are going to have the same looking card front, and they're relatively price similar from what I have from this data, which the PSA authentic there was a little bit on the rough side. I'm not sure that I'd be totally happy with that copy, or the SGC 10 down there for 1170. That's SGC 1. But you're still pushing over $1,000 with these. But I think ones that are going to be a little bit nicer looking, you're going to have to be spending more, like at least $1,500 to the $2,000 range, like that SGC 1.5 that's on there from November of 2023. So, a really nice looking headshot of Lou Gehrig here. Up next, we've also from 1928. These ones are designated as W502 because they don't know the exact retail origin of their distribution. They had a similar text on the back of many of these with the whole like turn them in to get a prize type of thing, but they didn't actually say what establishment they were connected to. And some of them are also termed this way if they are a blank back as well. So total graded population of 54 of this variety. They do look slightly different, as you can see with the lettering, than the previous D50s, or sorry, F50s. And recent sales of this was a SGC authentic for 1800. The PSA 1 that went for 1200 actually had a hole punch like right through the top right area around his hat. Seemed like it was a case where it was punched by the vendor after someone turned it in for the prize. So that's the 2 recent sales on that one. So up next, we have got also from 1928, a W565, another strip card that is hand cut. and definitely a lower print grade on this variety. As such, it ends up being lower pricing. Uh, you can see PSA 2 for 960, SGC 1.5 1100, and SGC 1 that looked pretty decent for 800. So other than the one that looks like the playing card, this is your cheaper option for Lou Gehrig here in a normal size slab with a total graded population on these of 80 cards. So up next, this is getting into more a higher priced Lou Gehrig card here with this 32 US caramel set being fairly popular and not a super high population on these, with the total graded being 149. That bright red, very recognizable background, and most recent sale of this one that was in a entry level grade wasn't it was over a year ago at over $5,000 there for a PSA 1. So this is definitely one of the more expensive options on this slideshow here, but very nice looking card, obviously. And then we've got one of the most popular cards of Lou Gehrig for people that are serious Lou Gehrig collectors, the 33 DeLong. Total graded population on this of 358, but a very in high demand card with its entry point here. The recent sale of a PSA 1 being $5,880. But such a gorgeous shot with him with his swing follow through and the classic DeLong cards. I definitely want to get something from this set someday with the large player in the stadium type there. But really nice looking card, but cha-ching. So up next, we've got 33 Goudey. I have combined it here where the number 92 card and the number 160 card are both identical looking, other than the card number on the back. And I've also merged it also with the numbers for the Worldwide Gum card number 55, which also has an identical looking front with slight variation from the back, with it being the different brand, but almost being the exact same looking card. And despite the fact that they are much lower quantities, they end up selling for relatively all the same amounts. So uh, this one ends up being called rookie card by some folks who seem to only regard the major sets as being rookie cards. So there's kind of two camps where some folks believe, the first card that was ever produced of them is the rookie card, versus it's only counts if it's a mass produced set. So, this one with all that merged population ends up being 3,895 with it. It's over 2,000 with the number 92 card. I think it was somewhere around 1,600 with the 160 card and a couple hundred of the Worldwide Gum. So is how that broke down. As you can see, cost wise, we are in the range of slightly under 2K for a entry level card, with the SGC 10 being, a well loved card around the edges, but still had a really nice picture quality. The PSA qualifier 1.5 was a really gorgeous card, but it had writing on the back. And of particular note, the SGC 10 down below that actually went for like $3,600 was a case where it had just a tiny bit of paper loss back damage on the back of the card, and the thing looked like it could be a 4 or a 5 on the front. And as such, it sold for quite the premium there, much less than a 4 or 5, but much higher than your average SGC 10. So, but really popular card, classic one of his. And then here is the ultimate iconic shot of Lou Gehrig on a baseball card. I mean, this is the one that's the most memorable to me from my childhood of seeing it on all the different baseball card magazines where they would have all the famous cards on the front of it. The whole Lou Gehrig says, with this one being the big smile with that gorgeous yellow background. Just a classic card. And I did merge the data then for the Goudey and then the worldwide gum in terms of population, where it was really around 1,400 of it was the Goudey, with 100 and something being the worldwide gum. So much lower quantity once again for worldwide gum, but does not transact for too much different of a price. So um, here we got a entry point on this one that is more like 22 to $2,400. So actually goes for a bit more than is 33 Goudey in this case, at least from what I am seeing. So but who wouldn't want to own that card there? So next up, the other card from the 34 Goudey set, card number 61, goes for a little bit less money. It has a total population of over 1,100 at 1,168. And this is one of two cards of Hall of Famers for anybody that is specifically a 34 Goudey collector. Where if you look at the Lou Gehrig says on this, it is a different smiling picture on the Lou Gehrig says border. The only two Hall of Famers that have this border are this Lou Gehrig card and the Hank Greenberg rookie card. So something that was a bit of an obstacle for me when I was trying to get representatives for the set. So as part of my Hall of Fame run, but just fun fact there. So as you can see, the pricing is a bit less than that yellowback version. The SGC Authentic in this case was a little bit on the rough side, but I'd still included the price as there wasn't too many recent lower grade transactions. So you're more like probably in the neighborhood of 1,600 as an absolute bottom entry point on something that looks really good at a low grade. So no way, I remember now. Sorry. This SGC Authentic being 1325 was a case where the front looked decent, but the back was almost completely gone, as in 80% of the back of the card was ripped off, as in this was a scrapbook card that got removed, and very little of the card back was left. So that's what gave the big price delta on this one. So you're really, if you care about seeing the back of the card, your entry point on this one is closer to 2K. So up next, and this is actually the last card of this run, which coincidentally was the first card of the last run I did of Joe DiMaggio, as in 1936 Worldwide Gum, with which 47 graded population ends up being relatively expensive. There was not a low grade entry point card with, so you can see with the SGC 30 there, which is a 2 at 5,400. So probably still somewhere in the 4K-ish range if we're going for like a 1.5 or decent looking authentic. But another great shot of a card here with the actual photo of Mr. Lou Gehrig. So as you can see, there's not a lot of regular sized options for this guy in his career. So you've got to be saving your money if you want to eventually own a Lou Gehrig card in your collection. But it feels pretty awesome to own one myself, as here we go. This choice was the W502. This is the one that was in the data there at $1,800 and is an authentic because I've got tape on the top and bottom of the card that had held it into a scrapbook. But the card is relatively undamaged otherwise and looks really nice. And I am ecstatic to own this one and have this as a part of my collection. So, all of you out there, if you're gonna be hunting for Lou Gehrig, best of luck to you. It's pretty cool to have a card of such an iconic player that will never be forgotten. So, everybody, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.